Welcome to Chat Today Facebook Live series. I am Elisha Dorcas. I am your super amazing host, and this is 10 life lessons with D. Okay, so my guest today is my friend Simeon. He's from Mozambique. We actually were supposed to start for 4, but we're having a bit of technical issues, so we apologize, but we're working very hard behind the scenes to see how to resolve that. That is why we had to start again. So if you're seeing this, that means we're just restarting the live again. Hopefully we'll be able to connect to Simeon. Oh, like I'm excited, right? I really want this to work. Yeah. He has a lot to say, and for me, I just want to listen. If you know what that means. Okay, so it's still 10 life lessons with D. So let me also use this opportunity to share my own 10 life lessons. I think I've not gotten the opportunity to do that so far. So Simeon is here. It still failed. Like the connection still failed. Let's try again. Hi, Naomi. How you doing? How you doing? How are you today? Okay, Simeon, is it possible for you to try using on that person's um, gadget or phone to join? Let's just try that. Is it something you can try? Please just try using another phone, like somebody else's phone or something to join, and let's see if that works. Thank you. And sorry for all of the connectivity challenge. I sincerely apologize. Okay, so 10 life lessons with D. Thank you. 10 life lessons with D. So I think for me, my lesson number one, consistency. I think I've shared a lot about consistency, the need for us to be consistent. You cannot just start and leave. You stay there. You stay there on you stay and you continue to push until you're able to see what you want. The truth is, only you knows where you're going to. And at the start of your journey into purpose or into your journey into purpose or trying to pursue your vision, it is a very, very lonely path. Very, very lonely. And like I I stated earlier today, sometimes people attack what they don't understand or what they don't know. It is okay. We are just humans. We don't know it, and they just, you just see them attacking it because they've never seen it happen before. And then a lot of people question whether you really understand what you want to do, how you want to do what you want to do. But you own the vision. You know exactly what you want to do. So go for it. Stay at it and stay consistent. And I think one of my favorite story, or one of the stories I love so much, is the Chinese bamboo. Like when I saw the video about the Chinese bamboo, I was blown away. Like if you watch that video, year one there was nothing, but the farmer still stayed consistent. The farmer was still committed to the Chinese bamboo. Like in the morning, he goes, he wets. He continues to wet it, like he waters it. Year two, oh, please go ahead, let's try. Year two, the same thing. So I think if you try, just let me know you are the one trying to join. Maybe you could drop a comment, because you might most likely be joining from the person's account. So just or if you are going to join with your account, I don't know, whichever one, just let me know it is you that is requesting to come on camera. Thank you. So year one there was nothing, and this farmer was still consistent. Like the farmer still was still very committed to 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 his dream, to that vision of the Chinese bamboo. Year two, the same thing. Year three, year four. Like when I was watching the video, even me, I was like, oh my god, it takes a lot of grit. Like year four, still nothing to show. And you will not see a lot of jesting, a lot of comments going on. But I think the fifth year something, he went to the farm and he saw something. And that was how the story changed for the farmer as regards to Chinese bamboo. So that all of us, we are just like that farmer. Sometimes you've sown a lot of seed, you're watering, you're nurturing this dream, you're nurturing the goal, and it seems as though nothing to show for it, nothing. And people begin to doubt you whether truly you're doing the right thing. Just stay focused and stay there. Consistency, time. I think time is the best one. With time, the result will show. With time, you'll be able to see what you've invested so much of your energy into. And I think another lesson for me is it is okay to be vulnerable. Vulnerability is not a sign of weakness. It is very, very okay to be vulnerable. It is okay not to know. It is okay. You can't know it all. It is okay to just like, oh, I don't know it. Can you help me? It is okay to ask for help. And it is okay to receive help. It does not mean you're weak. It does not mean you're less of who you are. Like there is no man really. There is no man that is an island. We need each other. Yeah, thank you, Joseph. Time and chance happens to them all. Okay, let's try and add Simeon again. So it's okay to ask for help. It's okay not to know. It is okay. It is okay not to be okay. So please, stop all of this. Stop putting yourself under undue pressure. It's okay. Vulnerability is not weakness. I learned that. And it is okay to be vulnerable. But I remember a friend of mine was like, okay, but be very careful the people you're vulnerable to. Like it is also important that you're very careful who you show your vulnerability to. But for me, I just like, it's okay. It's okay not to know. I think one of the things I learned this last year was when I asked my lecturer a question, and he was just like, oh, Dorcas, I don't know the answer. And I was like, where I'm coming from, my lecturer will not tell me if he or she doesn't know the answer. But this one was very open. I was like, oh, Dorcas, I don't know the answer, but what do you think? What do you think might be the solution to this? And I was like, oh, we don't have to have the answers all the time. We don't have to have it all figured out. Like it is very okay not to know. It is okay. It is okay not to be okay. It is okay. You are human. You are first of all a human being, flesh and blood. You are not Superman. You are not a superhero. You are not a robot, so it is okay. So we all go through that process once in a while. We are still waiting for we are still waiting for Simeon. So let's see. Like I would have loved to try something. Joseph, are you okay coming up on camera? I just want to try something just for a few minutes. I just want to try something if it is my own challenge or it is a network challenge. Bringing up my guest this afternoon. Is it okay if I try bringing you up on camera just for a few minutes? I'm just trying to try something. Why? And Simeon's zone is not working. If it is okay, you can just drop a comment on the comment section. And if it is not okay, it's fine. You don't have to respond. I will just take your silence for a no. Yeah, thank you. Oh, Simeon, I'm so sorry, but let's still try. Let's see how it goes. Okay. Okay. Let's see. Oh my God. You're on 3 devices. That's crazy. So sorry. Okay. Hi. Thank you for yeah, thank you for trying this with me. Thank you so much. I just wanted to be sure that it's not from my end. So thank you. It's so good to see you, Joseph. So Joseph, before you jump off this, yeah, so before you jump off this call, can you just share one life lesson with us? One life lesson.
Ma'am?
Just one. I said before you jump off the call, can you share one life lesson with us? Because you cannot hear me.
No, ma'am.
Oh, okay, no
No.
problem. No, no problem. It's
But can you
okay.
hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you, but can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I said before you leave, before I remove you, can you try sharing one life lesson with us? Just one of your life lesson. What life have taught you? Just one.
Life has taught me actually a lot.
Okay. So
I've
just share
had
one
a
of
very
those
crazy.
lessons with us.
Mm, I think just like Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ said something that he learned obedience through the things he suffered. I can say I've learned obedience through through the things I've suffered. I've paid the consequences, I've paid the prices I've paid for disobedience. Like even when the Holy Spirit is asking me to do things directly, it's expressed. There was a time I wanted going out. It was clear the Holy Spirit asked me not to go out with my car. And I was like, in this Lagos, I don't want to begin to jump yellow buses and all. Lo and behold, when I went out with that car, instead of 500 naira that I would have spent for transport, when I went out, I eventually spent almost 30,000 naira because my car went bad and I was arrested. So if I'd listened to the Holy Spirit, that little obedience would really have saved me a lot.
Yeah.
So thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you for sharing. Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right, man. Bye. Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah. Okay, you can go off. Okay, thank you so much, Joseph, for doing that. Simeon, can we try again? You said you're on 3 devices. I am so sorry. Can we just try and see if you could come on camera? If not, most likely we have to reschedule. So send in a request again. Let's see if it works this time. Wow. Yeah, 30 minutes behind time. Just send in a request. Let's see if it is going to work. So Joseph Makinde just shared his own. He said he has learned obedience through the things he suffered. Wow, that was deep. That one is very deep. Okay. So Simeon, I'm trying to add you again. Let's see if it is going to work. Please work. Please, please, please work. Wow. Okay. I think my last suggestion really is going to be maybe you should change network. Can you consider changing your network? And let's see if that is going to work, because it's still what is still popping up for me. I'm so sorry. I am so sorry. I know it can be very draining mentally trying to connect over and over again. If we try this last time and it doesn't work, we'll just reschedule. I think we can do that. We can reschedule. Yeah, please check your settings and also try and see if you could if it's trying a different network, if a different network will work, that will be fine. Then you just connect and let's see how it goes. I'm so sorry. And for everyone that have joined on this conversation, I must comment. Thank you so much for joining. We really, really apologize. Sincerely apologize for all of these technical itches. I'm so sorry. Yeah. Sometimes we cannot control all of those things, but it happens. So let's just see. Okay, let me just try something differently. Naomi, would you like to come on camera and just share one of your life lessons with us? If that's okay by you, you just come and share with us. We like to learn from you too. So what do you say? Okay, no pressure. If you're okay with it. Okay. So as we wait for our guest, Simeon, so we are still talking about 10 life lessons with D. And I just did a quick recap. In the other video, I did a very quick recap on various lessons. Like I picked one lesson each from all of the lessons that our previous guests have shared. Okay, I didn't talk about Timile's lesson. Timile was also a guest on this platform. For Timile, I think, you know, when Timile said waiting time is not a wasted time, like, oh, that was very, very loud. Like waiting time is not a wasted time. No. And there's so much you could do while you wait. Like, what can you do while you wait for your big breakthrough? My mentor used to say something that whatsoever it is that your hands find to do on your way to your goal, make sure you do it well. So it is never a wasted time. Whatsoever it is that your hands find to do on your path, on that journey towards purpose, on the path to that place you really, really want to be, make sure you give it your very best and you do it well. It is very, very, very important. You cannot take chances. You never know. Like you can never tell the day your big breakthrough is going to come. You're back. Welcome back. Okay, let's try again.
Oh, fine.
Okay, so what really happened?
Um, I was using my actually I've been using my office's internet, But the thing is that we've got different internet, let's say, providers. The one I was using is not, let's say, allowed to enter Facebook. So I had to call my the IT guy, to help me switch from that connection to another. So I think that was the biggest problem. I have just sent him a message thanking him for sharing the password with me. I'm so
Yeah, I think no problem, no problem. It's fine, it's fine, it's okay. So can you just adjust your camera a little? Okay, yeah, this is better. So this is Simeon. We are glad to have you finally on camera. That's a lot. Okay, if you check down, there is a share button so that you can share so that your friends can also watch. So there is a share button down.
okay. Let me see. I hope I don't spoil everything. Let me check.
No, you're not going to spoil anything. You're already in, so you're not going out. So there is a button, like you will see reshare. So it is going to be, I think, post to feed.
Okay.
Have you seen the button?
I have just done that. Let me check on my
Okay,
phone
you've got.
of if it's been effective or not.
Oh, okay, that's good. So let me try inviting friends to come watch. Mm-mm. Okay. So, Simeon, let's just dive into the 10 life lessons with Simeon. So usually before we start, I like to ask this question: what is one fun fact we don't know about you? So one thing we don't know about you that when people get to learn about you, like, oh, is this really you?
Well,
So just share one fun fact about yourself.
great. It's an interesting question. Apparently easy to answer, but it's a thought-provoking question. So, what don't
So
I know?
what's that one thing?
Well, I'm going to mention something. Friends have mentioned, and it's something that usually surprises me when it is said about myself. Um, they are
Okay.
people who find me an inspirational person. But you know what? It's hard for me to believe that there are people who look up to what I do. Um, and one of the
Why
things is
is that hard to believe?
um, because I am very, very ambitious in a positive sense, very, very critical to myself as well. And one thing I have, let's say, tried to instill in myself is that there is always a room for us to improve, right?
Yeah.
We never reach. So whenever I do something, and um, I am the first one to criticize myself, to ask too many questions, and that has allowed me to grow as a professional, as a person as well. So there's always a room for improvement, and whenever somebody comes and say, "Look, that action you've done has inspired me. You are an inspirational person," and I don't see that in myself, right? So it's very difficult for me to give you a perfect answer to that question. But I think
No problem.
I didn't.
But this is quite I think you're just trying to be very humble and conservative in a way. Like, oh, you mean my actions inspire you? Like, I think I could do better. But anyway, that's you. For me, like I remember when you mentioned during our conversation that you speak 3 languages. I was like, oh my God, this is so amazing. This is really inspiring. So at that moment, you were thinking to yourself, no, maybe I could do better. Maybe I should be doing 5 languages. Was that the thoughts that you were thinking?
But there's another fun fact. I have just realized that one.
Okay.
We were um, uh, participating in a PD, professional development at work, and we had to represent some characters, and
Okay.
we did that. But in the end, everyone gave me a standing ovation, and they said, "Look, you are it's something that I never thought about. I mean,
You
so
you
and,
you have like you're talented.
well, and I didn't know about it, and um, so there are lots of individuals of persona in me, and one of them is this actor
Wow. Wow.
exists.
Wow, that's interesting. I said interested. That's really interesting. So Simeon, apart from all of those caps you wear, you still wear one that suits you as an actor. That's really interesting. Interesting. I didn't see that coming. That is a fun part.
I'm
Okay, so
coming in,
let's
and I have no thought yet whether I'm gonna follow this talent they say I do have, because it's something I've just realized right now. But I have made no plans to follow it as part of my career.
no, don't worry. You can do it for fun in front of friends and family. It can be just something you have. Just one of those your skills, those your talents you just use at a leisure time. So it's fine. Okay, so this is 10 life lessons with D, and today I have my very good friend. Yeah, now I can call him my very good friend because we just went through 30 minutes of battling with connection. So it's not easy. And we are here, we are standing. So
Friend, I'll be so angry with you if you fail to call me a friend. I am your friend. You are my friend.
yeah,
My very
we are from very good friends from Mozambique.
yeah.
And I'm excited to have this conversation with him. So he's going to be sharing with us his 10 life lessons. So this is how it's going to run. I'm going to give you the floor. You're going to share your 10 life lessons. Then we come again and we run through it and engage on all of those lessons. So over to you, Simeon. So
Uh,
my biro is here. So if you're like, come in, get your biro ready because this guy is about to start dishing out fire. Okay,
first of all,
you can start.
thank you for inviting me, for having me in your show. I mean, this is an amazing opportunity for me to share what life has taught me so far. It's been 31 years, and I've learned lots of lessons, and most of them were shared by the previous speakers or participants. We are Africans. We almost have the very same difficulties, the very same needs, the very same ambitions, etc. So most of the lessons have been mentioned by the previous speaker. What I'm gonna do is try to find out something that was not discussed yet, and before I move on, I just wanted to congratulate you on this. It's fantastic. It's an amazing opportunity for us
Thank you.
to, to share
Thank
what.
you. So I also want to add something that despite the fact that some of the lessons might sound similar, but the experiences are different and the perspective are different. So how we view things is quite different. You might view it, the cup is half full, and somebody will be like, oh no, it's half empty. So perspective is important. So it is the perspective you bring into this conversation that makes it yours. So own it. It is your experience. So over to you.
Significant perspective to talk about it. Now, the first one is, if you allow me, I would like to have an extra lesson And that's going to be the very first one. I'm not going to number it.
No
And the first one is
problem.
have faith and believe in God. That's my zero lesson. And thank you for allowing me to add an extra lesson. Have faith
No
and believe.
problem. It's
Great. Now, here we go. The first one is be a lifelong learner. Never stop learning. Never stop learning. That's my very first one. And when I say learning, I'm not talking about only learning about science, but also improving your social skills, your thinking skills, your research skills, and many others. My number 2 lesson for today is plan and be creative. That's lesson number 2. Plan and be creative. Number 3.
plan and be creative. Okay. Number 3. I'm with you.
Take risks and be resilient.
Sorry, come again.
Take risks and be resilient.
Okay. Right. Wow.
My 4th lesson is spend quality time with family and friends.
Ooh. Okay. You're good.
So this
Number
is
5.
my 5th. Okay. Act. My
Just act.
Act.
Okay. Number 6.
These will be represented by a very popular sentence by a great man who has lived. A great man called Mahatma Gandhi. He says, "Be what you want to see in the world.
Be the change you want to see in the world." Yeah, that's one of his powerful quotes.
I think it's the 8th, right?
No,
speak out.
7th.
7th.
7th. Yeah, speak out.
Speak out.
Okay, 8th.
Be principled.
Be principled.
I think this is the 10th, right?
No,
you are.
Oh, this is supposed to be the 9th.
Oh, yeah. You are.
This is supposed to be 9th one.
Okay.
You are capable.
And my very last one is take care of yourself as well.
Oh, we need that. We need that in this world.
I think this one is one of the most important ones, because nothing I have mentioned previously is possible if you're not okay, if you're not healthy.
Yeah, that's very, very good. There is always this need for self-care. Like there is just this need for self-care. We just need to take care of ourselves. We need to take care of your body. And most times we just get overworked, that we forget that we need time to rest, to relax, to be okay, mentally, physically, or otherwise. So why is this a very, very important lesson for you? You need to take care of yourself. Like, why is it very important to you, self-care?
Well, I'm gonna tell you a story. It happened recently. I usually, and my wife is watching she's live, she's watching us. We were in hospital. I usually take my wife and my daughter to hospital, and I've been doing that for for the last 5 years. And what happens
Wow.
is they are always taken to hospital. And 2 days ago, she stopped me and she said, "Look, always take us to hospital. You always worry about our health, right?
Yeah.
You've never asked me to take you to hospital to take care about yourself,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
we know you're trying to do everything to make sure we are healthy,
Okay.
to make sure. What about you, right? If
Mm-hmm.
you take care of yourself, what guarantees that you're going to live longer to continue taking this care? Right? And
Yeah.
that made me think, look, if I want to see my daughter going to university, becoming, let's say, a professional, right? I have to make sure I take care of my body, of myself.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
if I don't do this, it's like a car. If you have a car and you use it every day, you do not take care of it, you do not change the oil, you don't check water, right? It is going to die early.
Yeah.
But then if you make sure you take care of those small things, your car might live longer, right?
Yeah.
Unless you
Very
have it.
true.
So that has made me think, that has made me change the attitude. And I think there is nothing I can do if I'm not healthy. So I need to make sure,
Mm-hmm.
right? I need to take care of
Yeah.
my, so that I can help my community, I can help my family, right? If I help my,
Mm-hmm.
I'm indirectly helping the community because my family is part of my community. I can only go
Very.
out in my community if I'm healthy. So that is my lesson. Take care of yourself, right? Take care of yourself.
Yeah. Like it's a very very important lesson. Just the way you stated that if you're not healthy, you will not be able to give back to your community. You'll not be able to take care of your community. Like, let me just bring it back. Let me just narrow it down a little. That job you're so passionate about, that job you're so committed to, if you're not healthy, you will not show up well. If you're not healthy, you will not be able to deliver on that job. Sometimes we are all about how can we make money, how can we meet our needs. You need to be healthy and strong to be able to meet those needs, to be able to make that money. So it is important that we take care of ourselves. So that is very important. So let's just go back to your numbered lesson. So you said it is important that we have faith in God. Why is believing in God important?
Well, it's very difficult to talk about uh, things related to God because you can't see them, for example. They are more
Mm-hmm.
spiritual than physical. Sometimes you can't,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
amazing how 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 strong and how strong uh, this spiritual strength is, right? And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes um, you find yourself doing things you had never thought you would do, you'd be able to do. Now, my question is, why do you do it? How do you do it? Is it because you're strong enough to do it? Is it just
Mm.
is helping you do it? Right? So, and apart from that, there are, for example, there are things that happen to your life, not because you are intelligent enough or strong enough to do it,
Yeah.
because force that helps you get there, right? And I was born and raised in a religious family. Church
Okay.
has been, we've always been to, and I am what I am today. I am talking to you, Dorcas, today because this force that I've never seen, I've never touched, has been driving me. So my first lesson is God, because God is the beginning, the middle, and the end. If you without a prayer, right? I mean, things don't usually go right. So you have to believe, you have to have faith, and put everything you do in His hands, and He's going to help you achieve. Sometimes it takes very long, because sometimes it doesn't give you the answers right away, and people stop believing because the answers are not immediate, right? I'm 40 years old, right? They are things I've been asking for more than 20 years. I've not received them, but I believe now I see signs. I'm going to make it. So it's not because I'm strong enough to do what I'm doing. It's because He helps me. He shows me the way, and everyone should have God um, first, and believe, and also, right, make an effort, because it's not about only believing and just sitting under the tree and say God is going to help me, God is going to do this for me. No, it doesn't happen like that, right? I think you ask for something and then you make an effort, right? So people might misunderstand, I mean, God's plans. It's not about you sitting, praying and then sitting back. No, you pray and then you do something together, right? He helps if you also, right? So God is number one lesson, and um, uh, um, there's nothing I would ever put before Him, right? Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for sharing. Like, there are some people that just joined this call. Like, I'm just so excited. I just saw some people. My honorable president, Ahmed, I caught her for it. Thank you for joining, sir. Akuchi Eke. Eke, thank you so much for joining. And Kemi, thank you too for joining. So this is 10 Life Lessons with D. Thank you for joining us once again. And my guest, Simeon, my friend from Mozambique, is sharing his 10 life lessons. Like, you know, when you just have to summarize all that has happened into 10, that is the assignment I'm giving to all of my guests on this series. Thank you. So, Simeon, so let's go to your next lesson. You said it is important that we be a lifelong learner. Never stop learning.
Exactly.
Like, we must continue to learn. Why? Like, I think my previous guest also talked about the importance of knowledge. Like, why is learning so important? Why must we continue to learn?
Yeah. That's a great question to my second life lesson. Well, science is dynamic. That's number one thing. It's not static. It evolves day after day, century after century, right? And that is one of the reasons we have to reinvent ourselves. We have to make sure we continue learning, right? The simple fact that science and knowledge is dynamic, the truth of yesterday might not be the truth of today, especially when
of today.
Sorry?
No, sorry, I'm just completing your sentence. Please continue. Don't mind me.
Number two, in a world characterized by globalization, people get access to knowledge easily, right? Which makes the world more competitive than it used to be, right? So that's the second reason we have to continue learning, right? So in this competitive world, we need to make sure we are, let's say, following the trends. We are, let's say, finding ways of also be competitive, right? So being uh, a lifelong learner is crucial, and there's no way you can be successful if you believe you have reached the apex or the climax. There is no climax in learning, right? Learning makes you want to learn more, right? Actually,
Yeah.
read articles, you read books. In the end, you have other questions, right? And for you to ask those questions, you have to read other books. And this is how the cycle is, right? The cycle is. But number one thing is knowledge is not static, it's dynamic. And number
Yeah.
two, the world has become so competitive, and you have to be capable of, um, let's say, um, let's say, prove yourself.
Lifelong learning.
Exactly.
Okay. Interesting. You know, when you were talking about the fact that knowledge is not static, is dynamic, I was like, oh, I remember a mentor of mine said, a knowledge not updated is outdated. I think that was how he actually put it. He said, if you don't update what you know today, the method that is being celebrated by the world, like, oh, this is how we do it tomorrow is going to be old school. So you'll be out of the market if you don't upgrade yourself. So what knowledge does is knowledge actually upgrades you, brings you up to that point of relevance where people see that, oh, you have value to offer, you have you are needed. But if you just think all that I know is all that there is, I just want to stay this way, I don't want to be open to learning, then there is a problem. Because another thing I believe is the day you stop learning, you start dying gradually. It's not physical death, really. You just see yourself, you start dying out of places. I remember, do you remember growing up? I don't know, let me just share this story. I remember growing up, then analog photography was in vogue. You know, when you snap the pictures, you have to take it to, what do they call that room? Is it the dark room for printing and all of those things? But today is quite different. We are in a digital world. If you take a picture today, you could just get it printed immediately. Like, can you see? You don't need to take, then we used to have the film, they'll put it there. So if you open it where there is light, then the thing out. Now it's no longer like that. With your smartphone, you could actually take nice pictures. With your digital cameras, you could take pictures. You don't need to go buy a film. With a small memory card, you could just get the pictures immediately. So the world is evolving. And I
Exactly.
totally agree with you that there is always this need. We must continue to learn. You want to say something?
Yes, yes, I do. And adding to what you've just said, which is great, and I totally agree, is that knowing makes you an open-minded person. Knowing
Yeah.
makes you look at problems in different perspectives, and that's something you had been mentioning. And another thing
Yeah.
is there's a mistake people make nowadays. Learning is not only about knowledge, right? I hear people so smart who go to interviews, but they fail to get the job. And the big question is why? You know so much, but even though you fail to get the job, and the big question is why? Right? I think nowadays it's not only about learning about knowledge about science, about maths, about physics, about chemistry. Right? It's about also learning about some skills, like social skills.
Yeah.
You are
Yes.
knowledgeable, you know a lot, but you are not socially prepared to work with other people, for example. Right? So what is the benefit of you being able to tell about physics, about history, about geography, if you're not socially prepared, right? Because we
Like
go
emotional intelligence skills.
exactly. You also need to be able to um, develop your thinking skills as well, right? So nowadays, people are not hired because they know only, right? Knowing is very, but they also hired. Their knowledge is also measured by how good they are at socializing, at working in collaboration with other people. I mean, how good incorporating with other people. So it's a combination of things. It's not only this scientific knowledge only, but also a little bit of social skills and many others. Yep.
Now, thank you. I love, thank you for bringing that up. It's very, very important. Like, it's not enough that you know what you know, like your profession or you know that job. It's also important that there are some life skills you learn along the way. We need to have some life skills. And some of the life skills is when we talk about the social skills. How do you work with people? How do you relate with people? Are you good working in teams? Because nobody is going to employ you and then say you are going to work in isolation. You still need to work with people. You still need to interact with people. So in this journey of learning, in this journey of knowledge quest, it is important that beyond knowledge, you also try to also acquire some life skills. And those life skills, it kind of creates a perfect blend, really. Like, there's this perfect blend, like it makes it all sweet together. So you don't just know the job, you also have other skills that polish your knowledge of the job and position you as that person of excellence for the job. Thank you for adding that. I think that's very, very important. And so let's go to the next point. So if you're just joining us, this is 10 Life Lessons with D. And my guest is Simioa from Mozambique. And so the next one, he said, it is important that we plan and be creative. Let's talk a little bit about creativity. So planning is good. So he said we should plan and be creative. We should plan, and also it is important we are creative. So tell us more.
I used to have a lecturer who used to tell us that if you do not plan, you're planning to fail.
Yeah.
Right? If you don't plan, you're
Very
planning.
true.
Right? So that sentence changed my life. That lesson has had an impact in my life. Right? Because there's nothing you can achieve unless you plan. Right? Of course, there are people who end up without any kind of plan, but how many people out of 10, for example, right? People out of 10. So, and so it's very important to plan, because if you plan, you know what your goals are, you know where you're going, you know what you're going to use to get where you want to go, right? And having those tools in your hands, right, makes the path easy.
Yeah.
Right? Planning doesn't always guarantee that you succeed. Right? It makes you more likely to get there, right?
Yeah.
Everyone plans, right? And most of the times we find ourselves, I'm talking about myself, most of the times we find ourselves planning, right? But planning in a way that is monotonous, right? Doing the same things everyone does, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes things don't go well, right? Because we're just doing everything that everyone else is doing, right? So in such a competitive world, we need to bring some creativity to what we do. So our planning should have this a little bit of creativity, right? And by that, I'm trying to say that the wheel has been invented, right? Everyone tells me that. But we can make sure we add some extra attributes or qualities to the wheel.
Yeah.
And
I think that is where innovation comes in.
Exactly. We have to be innovative.
Yeah, I think that is where being innovative comes in for me. Like, we know we are not asking you to reinvent the wheel in itself, but there's always room for improvement. You could actually make it better. There's you don't have to do it the way others are doing. You can actually do it better. And that is where your creativity and your innovativeness come into play. I totally agree with you on this one.
So, and again, the sentence "my teacher" uttered to us changed my life totally. Right? I could plan, and that was great, but my planning was monotonous. My planning didn't differ from other people's planning, right? So I had to find out ingredients to make my planning more creative, right? Because everything we do starts from a plan, right?
Yeah.
That's it's in your planning where you predict how you can be creative, right? If your plan is a dull plan or monotonous plan, and you don't predict ways in which you can be creative, right? You might be successful, right? But the level of probability is gonna reduce, right? Right? So this
Yeah.
is this is I have tried to combine planning and being creative, right? Because it's in your plan where everything is kind of decided, right? It's in your plan um, where you decide in what ways whatever you're going to do in future you're planning to do is going to be creative and different from what everyone else does, and thus make you more likely to be more successful.
Yeah. Very true. Thank you so much for sharing that. So it is not enough. So if I hear you well, it is not enough to plan. It is important that when you plan it in a creative and innovative way. So in your planning, your planning has a touch of creativity in it. Thank you. That is duly noted. We are learning. Let's go to the next point. You talked about take risks and be resilient. We need to be resilient. In this world, we can never overflow the talk about being resilient. It's just something that will always pop up every time. So tell us a little bit about that one. Taking risks and being resilient.
Look, I appreciate the work you do with your foundation, for example. Of course, before you start a project like yours, right?
I think I'm losing you. Are you there? Hi, Simeon. Are you there? Okay. So this is 10 Life Lessons with D. My guest is Simeon from Mozambique. So I'll try adding him back. So he has shared his 10 life lessons. So I'll do a quick recap as he reconnects back. He talks about have faith in God, be a lifelong learner, never stop learning. We must continue to learn, plan and be creative, take risks and be resilient, spend quality time with family and friends. And I think his lesson number 5 is act. Lesson number 6, he talked about be the change you want to see in the world. Be the change you want to see in the world. Then lesson number 7, speak out. Lesson number 8, be principled. Lesson number 9, you are capable. And lesson number 10, take care of yourself. The importance of self-care can never be overemphasized. There is always the need for us to take care of ourselves. And when he was talking about becoming a lifelong learner, I think there was something he mentioned that kind of stood out. He said, knowing helps you become open-minded, and knowing helps you see problem differently. So that is the power of knowing. That's the power. That is another thing that knowledge helps us in building. So we are still on lesson number 3. Take risks and be resilient. Welcome back, Simeon.
Yes, I was talking about the work you're doing,
Mm.
which is huge, a huge impact in your community, right? And that's a way of giving back to your community, right? The community has raised you, right? So, of course, before you go onto a project, you work on something you call SWOT analysis, right? You try to find out how how likely this project is, right, to be successful. And one of the things you try to find out in your SWOT analysis is the risks, right? You predict what risks you are likely to encounter, right, as you move. Right? Identifying the risks, right? Despite knowing that I am going to do this project, but I might encounter this risk, right? You didn't give up. You didn't stop from running. You didn't stop running. You're trying to have your become reality. You went there. You fought for it, right? Despite knowing that there are possible, let's say, weaknesses or risks, right? So if you had like predicted the risk and then said, look, I'm not going to do this because there is that threat over there. Let me abandon this project because I've realized that probably this and that could happen, right? You didn't give up. Did you give up? You didn't. You kept going. And today you've done so much for your community. Today you've helped so many people in your community. Why? Because you took the risk.
The risks.
I know there is this threat, right? But you did continue going.
Yeah.
Right? So that's why I think there are so many things we want to do in life, but sometimes we back off because we realize there is that possible threat. And look, I'm not going to do this. No, I'm not going to do this because there is that threat. Right? You will never know until you take risk. And life is about learning. Is about you failing and standing, right? And the constructivists, they defend that we learn from our mistakes.
Yeah.
Right? And making mistakes is not a sign, doesn't tell you are not capable. Right? For the construct, making mistake is a sign that you are learning. Right? Totally different from the who look at mistakes as a problem. If you make a mistake, you are you are a problem. You are incapable. Right? But this perspective of seeing mistakes, which is the constructivist perspective, you make mistake. He's learning. Right? So do take risks, because if you don't, you will never know whether you would have been successful. Right?
Or not.
Be resilient. Of course, you're gonna start your project. You're gonna make the first step, the second, the third, but then you're gonna encounter a difficulty, right? That shouldn't be able to stop you from going. Be resilient. Fight it. Keep going. If this strategy doesn't work, try another one. If the other one doesn't work, try, but just keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Right? It's like going to school, for example. Right? It's not easy. To do all the grades, it's not easy. We have done it because we were resilient.
Yeah.
Right?
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. That was really, really that was really, really profound. Thank you for sharing that. Take risks and be resilient. And I love the constructive criticism, the way you said it. You made a mistake, you're learning. You failed, you're learning. It is all part of the learning process. And this is something I always talk about. Like, everything boils down to how you view failure. What is your perspective about the concept of failure? What does it really mean to fail? For me, I would say, like in the definition, in the words of my mentor, failure is a gap in knowledge. So if you're able to bridge the gap, you're fine. So when it did not work, or the project failed, or something happened, it's just an opportunity to learn to do it differently. So it is all part of the learning curve. So let's just continue learning and continue pushing forward. So let's move to the next one. Spend quality time with family and friends. Like this one, like you're talking about the importance of family. Yeah, spend quality time with family and friends. Tell us a little more.
Right. This is similar to my very first one. I mean, my very first one was the one that involved the spirituality, right? But my second one was about taking care of yourself. Well, with this one, I wanted to um, raise awareness that we want to be successful in life. We don't sleep, right? We spend a lot of time trying to find ways to get to success. And so by success, I'm not talking about money. Money is good, but that's not the end of everything, right? I'm talking about professional satisfaction, job satisfaction. I'm talking about good mental and social health. I'm talking about, I mean, we want to be successful, right? And the path to get to success is not an easy one,
Yeah.
right? Not an easy one. It takes a lot of effort to get there, right? And most of the times, and this has happened to me, I have been so focused on being successful that I forget about the little things that make a huge difference, which is maybe the people I'm trying to be successful for, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if you understand.
Yeah.
Of course,
I do.
there are many ways of giving back to your community, right? If you are helping your family have a better lifestyle, you are somehow helping the community,
Yeah.
right? Just It's just the dimension in which you're helping your family, but it counts to the statistics, right? It counts to the statistics, right? So most of the times we focus so much on getting there, getting successful, and we forget about these little things. And one of the things is taking care of yourself, as I've mentioned. One of the things that we ignore, that we neglect, is spending time with family, right? They're not going to live with us forever. Just remember that. They are not going to live with us forever. You might go first, they might go first, right? You never know when it's going to happen, right? I would rather,
Yeah.
I mean, on my schedule, on my planning, make sure there is time for me to spend with my family, right? And that cheers us up. I mean, it's kind of a revival. It's kind of, and I've been neglecting that part, and I think it's an important point to spend time with with our family. And I've got friends who today regret it. They come and talk to me. They say, "Look, I spent so much time. I spent so much time trying to be successful. I am successful, but he or she is not here anymore to see my success, right?
And
He
it's sad.
not here to see my success. Why did I strive that much? Why did I spend nights not working if the people you care about cannot see this success of yours?" Of course, we're not working just for us, but we're also working to help our country grow. We're helping our country become a better country, right?
Yeah.
Because single bit, every single thing we do, I'm doing it, my friend is doing, my colleague there, we are bit by bit helping our country become a better place, right? Right. But there is also, right, this um, family part that is also very important. So we need to spend time with family and friends, just because they will not be there.
Family.
They will not be there forever. I'm not saying don't
Yeah.
work. I'm not saying don't fight. I'm not saying stop working and spend time with family. I'm saying, look, you're planning, right? It's fine. but find some time to spend quality time with your family.
With your family.
Exactly.
Wow. Thank you. So, like, family time is important. Family time is very important. Time with loved ones. If you say you love them, create time for them. Spend time with them. So I think for me, when you were talking, I just felt it has to do with a lot of intentionality. Like you have to factor in that time that, oh, this is important. I just have to spend it with my loved one. This money we are finding, like this money we are always running after. When you get all of those money and you come back to an empty house, it's not a good one. So you need people to, like when you get the money, when you come back home, you need people to be there to share it with. So it is important that you create our time. So don't make them feel family is important. So they need to feel important. They're also an important aspect of your life. So let's go to point number 9 and point number 8. You talked about being principled and capable. You talked about being principled and capable. I'm adding those two together. So that's point number 8 and 9.
Being principled
And capable. So I went back to 9 and 8. Talked about the importance of being principled and capable. So let's talk about being principled and being capable. So
okay.
over to you.
Principled. People do not forget the good things you do for them.
Yeah, that's true.
And I'm going to look at it in a perspective of, for example, of business, right? I'm going to look at it in a business perspective. You have got a company, right? Or you've got a shop. You sell, for example, you sell bread. You've got clients, right? But your client usually complain about your prices, let's say, changing every day. And most of the times, there is no reason, there is no plausible reason for this sudden change, right? And look, you're the only person who sells that specific product, right? You sell your product, you decide what the price is. I mean, they come today, tomorrow the price is totally different. There is no explanation whatsoever what is going on. You're just taking advantage because you're the only one who's selling that product.
Yeah,
of course,
monopoly.
they're going to continue coming to you, right? Because they have no other choice, right?
Very true.
They will be coming to you, right? Because they have no choice. But the complaints will be there. Now, and then a competitor comes, right? Who sells the very same product as you do, right? He is clear about why and how the prices change, right? He changes the price if there is a strong reason. I mean, he communicates with the client, right? He communicates with the client. He informs the client beforehand that, look, tomorrow the prices are going to change because of this and that reason. If you watch the news, you're going to see it. So we've got two examples of two people who are completely different. One is principled and another is not. And what happens is, right, once there is another alternative, the clients are going to run away from you, right?
Yeah, that's true.
You might have got so much money in a short period of time, but long-term wise, you won't have the same clients to buy your product.
Yes.
I don't know
Yeah.
if you understand. But then if
Yes,
you
I do.
you can have the very same clients every day for a long period of time. And one thing I tell people who surround me is that, look, I would rather have a client who pays a little money for the whole of my life than having somebody who pays once, he pays a lot of money, but he's not happy and he's not gonna come back. He's not gonna come back, right? Even if you're going to ask for a job, right? You have to submit your CV, right? But there are people who write things. I mean, they try to embellish their CVs by writing things that they're not. Let's say that they have nothing to do with their trainings, right? They are called, they are asked to explain about what they've written on their CVs. They might be able to explain because they've rehearsed it, right? They get the job. But long-term wise, people, the reality of the truth is going to come. It's going to come to our eyes by the way you do the things, right? By the way you perform your tasks, right? And then your employer is going to find it out, and it's not going to call you again, right? What was the benefit of not being honest enough, of not being principled enough, and write things that have nothing to do with your training, with your qualifications, and then get fired? And when you get fired, the employer lets the other companies know about your lack of, let's say, honesty.
Yeah.
So I think being honest, being, let's say, principled makes a huge difference, right? And as I might have said at the beginning, people do not forget the good things you do for them.
Yeah.
Right? I still talk to people who met me 15 years ago, 10 years ago. Whenever they've got a piece of job that has to do with my qualification, they still call me, right? Because I've been principled, I've been honest enough to tell them what my strengths are, what my weaknesses are. I don't remember their names, but they call me and say, look, can you please help me with this, right? So you may dump people, right? But that is not going to last forever. One day they're going to find it out and they're going to stop coming to you. So would you rather have in a short term or long term wise? That's my biggest question to the people I usually talk to.
So will you have loyalist customer for a long time, or you're going to have this unsatisfied yes, because the customer is not satisfied, unsatisfied customer for a short time? So which one will you choose? Thank you so much for that example. So let's go to point number 6. You said, be the change you want to see in the world. Be the change you want to see in the world.
Well, this is, as I might have said, from a very, 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 very popular and famous individual who made a huge impact when he was alive. Right?
Yeah.
And the lesson is that everything starts with us. Right? Don't expect other people to start. You start.
Yeah.
You have to be the very first one, right, to act. Right? And this reminds me of the hummingbird story.
Okay.
I don't know if you've heard about it. It's the title is Hummingbird. It's by a Kenyan writer called Wangari Maathai.
No, but you can give us the summary. I'm up for it.
It's a fable because it involves animals.
Oh,
right?
Okay.
It's about um, um, a bush or forest catching fire, right? And lots of animals, right? And we know that whenever the forest catches fire, animals are in danger, right? Or the forest
Yes.
can perish or disappear. What happens is there were birds, there were elephants, there were lions, there were zebras, there were rhinoceros, and etc. Right? And everyone was just watching, was just looking at the event, not doing anything, right? And guess what happened? The
What?
smallest in the forest, which was the bird, right, decided that it wanted to do something about the problem, right? So it decided to go fetch water to stop the fire, right?
Wow.
Decided to do that. But we know how much water can the bird take at a time? And it was a huge forest. How much water can it take? And it did once, twice, thrice, 4 times, 10 times, but the fire couldn't stop. And the other big animals that could be able to go get more water, for example, the elephant could get more water than the bird, right? Other animals had the capability, the potential, right? Because it's just a potential. They did not use their potential. They just had the potential. And the animals intercepted the bird and asked him whether he thought what he was doing would help stop the fire, because they looked at how small he was, right? Or the bird
Yeah.
was. And they asked, do you think what you're doing is gonna stop the fire? He said, look, it might not stop the fire, but at least I'm doing something, right?
Yeah.
But right? And the moral is, it doesn't matter how small you are. It doesn't matter how how big the problem could be. You can do something about it, right? And if you want to see changes taking place in the world, in the community you live in, you've got to do something, and everything starts from you. Don't expect other people to do something that you can do as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Like, I think for me, our little actions is what really bets the big changes we want to see. So if you, in your own position, you're able to do what is right, and everybody is doing the right thing, the accumulation of all of this tiny bit of action creates the bigger change of impact that we so desire. So that's really a powerful story. That's really a powerful story. Thank you for sharing. So let's go to your next point. Talked about, that's point number 7. You said speak out. We must learn to speak out. So what are we speaking out for?
Great. That's an interesting question. I
Yeah.
I I wrote this lesson and then I removed it and then I brought it back and then I removed it and then I brought it back. I removed it, brought it back and so I think we can only know what you feel, what you think, what your desires are if you say it, right?
Please come again. I didn't get that. The network was a bit crappy. Come again.
You can only get to know, right, what your feelings are, what your desires are, what your wishes are, if you say it.
Yeah.
Right? That's the way we can know it. Right? Some people may say, look, by acting, you can see, we can have lots of interpretations of your actions, of your moves. But if you say it, it's much clearer for us.
Yeah.
Right?
We have
So
better
always
clarity.
express yourself, always speak out. Right? People are too busy to interpret your actions. Right? Say it. Be courageous. Go for it. Say it. Express yourself so that we know what your desires, your feelings are. Right? You work for a company. You've got ideas. You've got opinions. You've got suggestions. We want to know them. And those suggestions and opinions could be life-changing for the community to live in. Could be very impactful in the company you work for. Go express yourself. Your moves could be well interpreted, could be it's very hard for us to find out what you really want and what you really would like to see happening.
Now someone must speak out. I think until you talk, we don't even know what is in your heart. Exactly. We cannot, so you must learn to speak out. And I think it is important that you communicate clearly. You cannot live your life assuming that people are supposed to know. Simioa is supposed to know exactly what to do. Simioa, you're supposed to know. I can't know. He cannot know until you actually speak out, until you communicate in a clear language. Yeah, so that's very important. I think communication is key. So let's go to act. You said point number 5 is act. So what are we acting upon? Upon the words, upon the spoken words or the silent words? What are we acting upon?
Well, that brings me back to the hummingbird.
Oh, yeah, okay. That was before. Okay, so I get it now because I kind of mixed it up. I just wanted to mix it up a little. So it's still tied to the story.
Exactly. It's about you doing something, right? At least do something. Don't keep quiet. Don't just sit back and watch your community suffering. And that's exactly what you've done. You have identified a concern in your community. And what did you do? You thought of a project. And is the project changing the lives of God's children? Yes, it is. So usually we are confronted with problems, with issues in our community, in our families, in our country, right? And we just expect the politicians to be the only ones to solve our problems. Look, we've got a president, we've got a prime minister, they will do it. No, it's your job as well as a citizen. You are here on a reason. You are here on this planet for a reason. And the reason is not for you to sit back and watch things happening. No, he's going to do it. No, he's going to do it. We've got a president, we've got a minister of agriculture. He will do it. We've got a minister of education. No, you do it as well. Right? You do it as well. Right? And I appreciate the work you've been doing. I think you are acting. You are acting in a true sense. Right? And one day I hope to do the same kind of work you're doing. Because we all can do something. We all can do something to make our world a better one, to make our community a better place.
So instead of complaining, instead of just sitting there, just talking about the problem with no plan, just stand up and start acting. Be like that bird. Do something. Just try to do something. Let your actions start doing the speaking. So I think that same energy we used to talk and get angry about the situation. So we could actually channel that same energy into doing strategic work in wanting to change the situation, to change that problem, to change that narrative that we are so passionate about. So if you're just joining us, this is 10 Life Lessons with D, and my guest is Simioa. Simioa is an educator, so he's a passionate teacher. My wonderful friend, he has been sharing a lot with us. Sorry, I want to say something.
Educator, a translator, and interpreter as well.
Ooh, educator, translator, and interpreter. Wow, 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 wow. That is a lot. You see, okay, in case you were not on the call when I mentioned, he actually speak like 3 languages. He told me he speaks English, French, and Portuguese. I was really, really impressed. I was like, oh, I need to learn this too. I need to put another language to my list. It's really, really nice. So I'll do a quick run through of some of the lessons he has shared with us. That's really been a very, very insightful conversation with Simeon. So lesson this is unnumbered lesson. The unnumbered lesson we have faith in the living God. Like, it is just important for us to have faith. You must believe in something. I think everybody believes in something. So the question is, what do you believe in? What do you have faith in? Everybody have faith in something. So what do you have faith in? So lesson number 1, be a lifelong learner. You can never stop learning. And learning, it is also important that you should know that knowledge is not static. Knowledge is dynamic. And in a global world, we're in a global space right now, and the world is becoming very competitive. That is the word of Simeon. So it is important that there's always a knowledge upgrade. So lesson number 2 talked about you plan and be creative. It is good to plan, just like the common saying, if you don't plan, you plan to fail. But beyond planning, it is also very important that you put creativity and innovativeness into your planning. You cannot overemphasize the need of creativity in your planning. So lesson number 3, take risks and be resilient. Life is all about risks. You just need to take chances. You just need to take risks. And sometimes when it fails, when it's not working, when there are mistakes, you just need to keep pushing through. That is where the power of resilience comes in. He shared a lot on that one. So in case you missed that point, I will encourage you to watch this conversation with Simeon again. He also talked about the importance of spending quality time with family and friends. Yes, we need to spend quality time with our loved ones. The person we so desire to, the people we are so passionate about wanting to make money for. It is important that we give those people the due attention that they deserve. You cannot starve them of your attention, all in the quest of your trying to build a better life for them. So they need you to be part of that life you're building. So you are also part of the life. So you need to be present in the lives of family and friends. Is very important. So point number 5, you talked about act. Oh, the story, you must be doing something. It is important that you find yourself doing something. Point number 6, be the change you want to see in the world. And this is a quote from Mahatma Gandhi. So that is one man that changed the world. He didn't use violence. Like, that was one man that he does not believe in gun, he does not believe in fight, he does not believe in bloodshed. But in peace, he was able to change the world. So he said, you must be the change you desire to see. So 7, he said, we need to speak out. You need to communicate clearly. It is impossible for us to know exactly what is in your heart, or what you want from your friends or your partner. It is important that you learn to speak out. Be principled and be capable. I think this is where you talked about the story of the business one. The man that practiced monopoly and is just taking advantage, exploiting people. And I think in this world today, we see a lot of exploitation around us. Like, people are just looking for the slightest opportunity to take advantage of people. And there is this one that is more concerned about the people whom he serves. So the question is, who are you in that story? Are you Mr. A or you're Mr. B? Are you the one that desire loyalists, loyal customers, people that are committed? It is not about, for me, this being principled and capable does not just relate to the business space alone. I think even to our day-to-day life. Are you the one that anytime you see people, you're just trying to exploit people's weaknesses to your advantage, or you're trying to build people? What kind of person are you? What principles guide you? What value system do you operate? So I think your values also informed your principle as a person, and that is also important. I also talked about the importance of taking care of yourself. Self-care can never be overemphasized. I think the last point that Simeon is yet to talk about is being capable. I just realized that you didn't say anything about capability. So can you talk a little bit about that? Yeah. So being capable.
Well, sometimes people underestimate themselves.
Mm-hmm.
They underestimate themselves. Man, you can do it. You can do whatever everyone else does. Don't underestimate yourself. Say, yes, I can, and go for it. And again, you will never know until you try it. Why do
Yeah,
you limit
that's true.
has given us the same apparatus, the same structure, I mean, the same eyes, the same nose, the same mouth, the same ears, the same head, the same hands, the same feet, right? And I know people who are, let's say, handcuffed, people who are deficient, right? They still do incredible things. I can bring lots of examples of people who have no legs, but they end up doing incredible things. You are,
Yeah,
you have got every single thing a human being was designed to have. Why do you underestimate yourself? Go for it. Try it. You fall, you stumble and fall, you stand up, you go for it. Right? You
yeah,
are capable. You are capable. You are. Say you are capable and go for it.
capable. I am capable.
Listen to people. I mean, people will try to discourage you. People will try to tell you are not capable. You can't do this. You can't do that. Right? And if they say that, it's because you shine. You shine, and your your brightness doesn't please them. Right? If they say you can't do it, it's because you shine. They see something you can do. They see potential there, and they want you not to make use of your potential. Right? And this is what I tell people. You can bear that in your mind. You've got a project, go for it. Right? So, and I've been trying to tell this from my brothers, my sisters, my wife. I'm going to try to tell my children as well that they are capable, no matter what
Yeah,
small you
you
are.
are capable. You are capable. Yeah, you're capable. So don't let anybody talk you out. Don't let anybody talk you down. And most importantly, never you talk yourself down. Never you talk yourself down. Never you underestimate your capacity. It is very, very important. You're capable to deliver on it. And with that sense of knowing, run and go. And the truth is, it just, I think I can still connect this to the other point of when we talked about risks and being resilient. So with the knowing that you are capable, take chances on yourself and just launch out. Take the risks and just do it. And if you hit the wall, you fall, you stand up. That is where your resilience comes in. It is very, very important. Thank you so much, Simeon. It has really been a very interesting conversation with you. Like, oh, today I think I and Simeon actually showed some level of resilience with our connection from the very beginning. We had like a lot of up and down, but see us, here we are. We're able to deliver on this one. Thank you so much for your time. I really, really
I
appreciate you.
for this opportunity, and I think you are doing an amazing job. I mean, I've learned so much from your previous speakers. I'm still learning today and expect to learn the coming lessons. And I like the fact that you have mentioned that we might face the same problems, but the perspective we look the problems in, they change everything, right? And
Yes.
thanks, keep on the good good work. Anything you need me to help you with in Mozambique, please.
No, don't worry. Very soon, I need to tell Cydia. Cydia, just find something. Just bring me to Mozambique. Let's come and see the beautiful beaches, because Mozambique is so beautiful. Like, no, I need to advertise Africa. Yeah, Africa is a beautiful continent. If you've never been to Africa, let me encourage you. Please come visit Africa. If you're in Africa, you've never visited other Africa countries, please, I will encourage you to explore our continent. Our continent is so beautiful. Like, every day you just get to uncover another beauty of the continent. Like, it's amazing. It's amazing. And like, sometimes when I see pictures and videos of, like, oh my God, in my country there's something we call for the soft life. Like, just go and relax. If you're thinking of vacation, just go to Mozambique. Just go relax and have fun. It's really, really exciting.
Right.
Yeah. So I finished advertising Mozambique. Please come to Nigeria. Nigeria is beautiful too.
Great. I'll be for your invitation, right?
No problem. No problem. Thank you so much. But
or in Lagos?
sorry, come again.
In Lagos or in Abuja? Is it Abuja?
Abuja. Oh no, I'm not in Lagos. I'm not in Abuja. I'm actually in the state in Southwest right now. Yeah. So Nigeria is very big. Don't worry. Don't worry. My country is a big country. Yeah. Oh, thank God you know. Okay. So thank you so much for your time. To all of our participants, thank you so much for joining us and also engaging on the call. Naomi, no, I think it's Naomi. Did I get the name right? Yes.
Yeah.
Naomi has been so consistent. Thank you so much for staying through with us. That's your wife?
Yeah.
Oh, wow, that's so nice. Thank you so much for joining. I really, really appreciate you. To everyone, thank you once again. This is 10 lessons, 10 life lessons with D, and this is where we draw the curtains tonight. And my wonderful guest, Simeon, thank you so much for doing this with me. I really, really appreciate. Yeah, 10 life lessons continue on Wednesday. That is next week, Wednesday. Don't worry. When I will still unveil the guest. I don't just want to mention his name yet, but another amazing guest is going to be joining us next week, Wednesday, by 4 p.m. Don't miss out on that interesting conversation. In case you didn't start from the beginning of this conversation, I will encourage you to go watch the replay. And so this is why I say good night and have a wonderful evening. Bye-bye.
Bye. Have a good night. Bye.
Bye.